I'm a 28-year-old lady. I have been married for 8 years with 3 kids. My husband and I live with my mom-in-law in the same house. This woman has been causing a whole lot of confusion in the house. She reminds me of Patient Ozoko, like Nigerian movie kind of thing. Sometimes she goes to the extent of insulting my husband in such a way that he will become angry and fight me as a result of it. Worse still, she will say that I'm controlling him and that he is afraid of me. My mother-in-law can intentionally ignore the food I cook and serve her and later tell my husband that I didn't give her food. She has been doing this all just to make sure that there is a problem between I and my husband. I have been going through a lot for some time now. My husband can sometimes leave me and be with the mother, and I'm afraid that one day I may lose my husband because of the way things are going. I know she is his mother, but how can a mother-in-law cause so much confusion in her son's marriage like that? Sisters, please help us, sister. I don't want to lose my marriage. What is the best way to handle this situation? Sitcho, I'm going to start with you.
I think women are just... You see, when we say sometimes women are our own enemies, this is some of it. I think it's unfair on the woman's part to be doing this to a younger version of yourself, if you look at it that way, because you were like her at a certain point in your life. And if you look at yourself and you think back around the time you were married, if you had a mother-in-law like yourself, ask yourself, would you be happy with yourself if you had a mother-in-law like you? If you have daughters, your daughters are also going to be married to other men and they are going to have mother-in-laws. I think women should do better by the women or vis-a-vis the men who come into their children's lives, because some of these things, you are not just hurting the woman. You are thinking, oh, you are doing it to hurt just the woman. But then again, let's go back to the story in itself and attack the story as it is. First of all, are they living in the woman's house or they are living in their own house and the woman has moved in? The story hasn't specified that per se.
Okay, they said my husband and I live with my mom-in-law in the same house.
So I'm guessing this lady said she's 28 and she's been married for 8 years.
Yeah,
so if
she married at 20.
If it's anything to go by, it means if like the average age is anything to go by, it means this guy may probably be from 1 to 5 years older, which is the average situation we find in most cases. So this guy is probably also young when he got married to this lady.
So probably they're all living with the woman. Yeah.
I think her husband needs to grow up first of all. They need to put money together, or the man needs to put money together and move out to go and rent his own place. You see, I always say everything comes at a cost. Example, if you decide to do prostitution, and it comes at a cost. If you decide to marry young, it comes at... There are consequences for every single action we take. If you decide to live in your mother's house with your wife, it comes at a cost. Something will give for that decision. If your mother is not somebody who is accommodating, you see, funny thing, even your own parents, once you are living with them after a certain age, you become a nuisance.
Yes.
Let's say you've lost your job and now you can't pay your rent and you go back home. That's why for me personally, I don't know what will happen, I'll go home. You know, it's a very personal reason. I remember there was a point in my life where something happened and everybody was like, oh, then go home. And I'm not going home. I'm not going home. Because psychologically it feels like all her friends' children are living in their own home. You are sitting here in my house, on my matter with your wife, eating my food. Or your wife is in my kitchen.
Not paying light bill,
you know,
paying water bill.
There's a lot of things for humans. Do you know if you travel now, you go and live abroad with someone,
after 2 weeks.
After 2 weeks, 2 weeks is the longest you can do in someone's house. After that, everybody will start frowning their faces at you and all that. So you need to have a plan. So these two people need to have a plan. Otherwise, your husband will always be disrespected and you will be roped in some way, somehow. Right. Whether it's your fault or not, the two shall become one, and this is a very difficult thing. So I think first things first, if they are living in the woman's house, they need to move. The husband, if he's not doing any decent job, because if you are, then moving and being in your own space shouldn't be a problem. Or budgeting within a year to move out and be in your own space shouldn't be a problem. Right. Even though Accra is hard now, Nado has made it very hard, but you know, so they should do that first. And then they should stand their ground, for now that you are there and you are yet to make a plan, you will have to endure everything she serves you.
Yeah.
Because some women will not change, and especially when they are old at that, like they are older and they've seen life, been there, done that. It's like teaching an old dog new tricks.
Right.
She's not going to listen. You would have to condone everything she serves you for now and manage to prepare to move out of the house.
Right.
Because even your own relatives, once you start to fail in life, nobody cares.
Right.
And we need to understand how life works, because once you understand that this is how things work, some things don't come to you as a surprise anymore. You are rather excited and grateful if that is not the case. You are grateful if you have a wonderful mother-in-law. You are grateful and happy if this is the case, if that is the case. But if it is not, go full on, do what you need to do, and get out of there.
Right. All right. So Olivia, there's this thing. She made a comment here. She said she always says that I'm controlling my husband. So now, why is it that when a husband and wife are happy, people always tend to blame the woman for being controlling? They're just happy. That's their life. But why is it always the woman that is blamed?
I don't know. It's just crazy. They feel like once a boy and a girl come together, because intimacy is in the mix and the men really enjoy sex and it's the women who have what the men need, it's almost like the man will say whatever the woman tells him to, because at the end of the day, the mother no longer is in a position to push him around, but now the wife has what he needs. The wife is very comfortable, comforting for him. The wife is now, she can't compete with the wife, because the wife now has what her son needs. So it's like, it's your wife.
Yeah.
It's like the quickest and easiest way for them to, for them to
Attack.
attack, which is not really fair. But if it makes you feel any better, I've had to go through living with not just the mother-in-law, bless her heart, who recently passed, but a grandmother-in-law who is also with the Lord right now. But it's not easy. Unfortunately, the situation was such that Habi and I had come down from London after studying, and my mom, because my mom had died, there was nowhere to go, and my dad said, hey, nobody. So literally I was in the streets, nobody here. So I had to come and live with my in-laws. And like Sicho mentioned, it's not easy when you live with your in-laws. Well, there's some, I'm not saying everybody's situation is the same, where in-laws are horrible. You could find some in-laws who are very open, who are very nice, who will just, willingly accept you. But the girls have an adage. They say, "Shong ni fo," which means it's better to admire something from afar. You see, so the more you are with somebody, friction. How you walk is a problem. How you talk is a problem. Why you don't wake up at a particular time is a problem.
How you pick your nose is a problem.
Space, toilet roll,
everything is a problem. But you're asking how to. What really helps is having a man who is mature enough to understand that the day that you guys said I do, and understand the word of God that says a man shall leave his mother and the father and cleave unto his wife.
Leave his mother and father. You are still there. Leave.
Exactly. So to buttress what Sicho said, we left, and usually it's best to leave, because you can make your own mistakes together. You can find each other. You can make your own decisions together, and always come home with the children and always visit. And what other thing, I think it also makes it a bit difficult when the boy is usually the mummy's boy, the only child. Like, it just complicates issues, because what it is that if the woman, your mother-in-law, is not married, or there's no a male figure, what the women do, or is widowed, what the women do is they automatically replicate their husbands in their sons. And they forget that their sons also need to make their lives, and therefore they have certain expectations of their sons. They expect that their sons will be there for them, will sit by them, will do 1,000,001 things for them, forgetting that the son also needs time to also be with his family and make his family.
And so I see that as a problem.
It's a big problem. It's a huge problem, but therein goes the point that some people are just selfish people. There's nothing you can do about it. So in the case like this, if she's widowed, if I were you, I will speak to your husband. Just needs to be mature. She needs a boyfriend. She needs a different distraction. She needs to get laid.
Yes, because that's what I feel.
She needs to get laid.
I think because of the society that we are in, you can see widows don't easily move on. People expect them to just be there. Even the children make it worse by saying, "Oh no, I cannot watch my mother. She's had children," especially in the Nigerian setting.
Yeah.
You hear a lot of children say,
you
hear a lot of children say, "What's she looking for a man for? We'll take care of her. We'll take care of her." We like
Me,
no.
I told my children, even at 60, I'll marry. At 70, I'll marry.
Yeah, because she needs a partner. She needs
I feel like even if you're not married, like, have a boyfriend.
Yes, I'll have a boyfriend, a concubine.
You know, she needs, and most of the time, these old people, it's not always about sex.
Yes,
it's not always. Sometimes it's the
companionship.
Somebody to sit by them, somebody to talk to them. And sometimes having a male figure with you at an old age helps you to be more objective. And the male figures are the ones who are going to say, Masa, you need them alone. Here, so because women are very emotional beings, very sentimental. Why is my son not giving me attention? Since he got married, why? What's the big deal? Who is this girl from? Where is this girl from? So sometimes it's nice to, I don't know, but you need your husband to understand where you're coming from, understand the importance that your decision also helps. And also, like Sicho was saying, I think that you guys need to save and move out, and then just be visiting every now and then.
Right. Rosie, she said you need your husband to understand where you're coming from. One question: is the husband blind? Every day the woman will wake up every morning, foolish woman, stupid girl, you can't clean, you cannot clean, why did you use my kitchen? You understand? Is he blind? Like,
I don't think the husband is blind, but in the submission she made she made a comment that the kind of attitude she's getting from the in-law, it trickles down to her own son also. So he actually insults her own son even on her behalf also. So which means that the son is not even immune to the attitude the mother is giving. So over time, I think that maybe he'll probably tell the wife that, okay, my mother doesn't like this, so don't do this. But you are human. Yeah. You can't, it's not like you can't walk on eggshells the whole time. So occasionally one of them will slip through the cracks. So when that happens, the one is complaining, like, Baby, I told you not to do this. Then it's bringing more tension into the house. Now, I have amazing in-laws, and I believe my mom is also an amazing in-law. So I don't think I'll ever go through something like this. But I've said this on the show several times that as a married couple, it's important to give your in-laws a healthy distance. I've said it on this show several times, like respect them, love them, but give them a very healthy distance so that respect is still maintained, so that even when they are thinking it, they think twice before they dish it out to you. And you yourself, the way you carry yourself as mature, capable of taking care of situations. And I'm thinking that, like Sicho said, if she got married at the age of 20, she probably was maybe into the marriage probably a little childishly. So, like, I'll wash your stuff, I'll do. Maybe she went with that mentality. There's nothing wrong with that. But I'm just saying that now that she's growing, she's evolving. Maybe your mother-in-law is still seeing you like a child who married the husband. So he can't afford to give you that respect as my daughter-in-law. Now, some of these women, they come from a background of hurt and pain. Maybe your father didn't treat them well. And to see that their son is treating another woman well, it angers them. Because they're like, what didn't I do? I even did more than this girl is doing. And yet the man didn't treat. I cooked and cleaned and washed and somersaulted and did all manner of things. This man, now my husband is actually helping the wife to clean, helping the wife, and then they are sitting in the background and they are annoyed. Number two, it could be that if it's a widow situation, maybe they used to hang out as a family, they used to do so many things. The father probably passed, the husband probably passed away, and then the son sort of like filled that void to some extent. So it's not like she's not happy that they are married, but the thing is that now she's slowly seeing that whatever he was giving her when the husband left, the man is now giving it to the wife. So it's an issue of jealousy, of envy, and not knowing how to handle it. But like everybody has said, the best thing to do is to create a healthy space. Make sure you never disrespect her.
True.
No matter what.
Yeah.
Listen, no matter what the woman has done or how she has done it,
It's her
she
house.
took care of your husband to a certain extent for you to see and see that this man is pleasing to my eye enough to want to marry him.
Yeah.
She has done something for you. So whatever she does, make sure that you never disrespect her. Instead, you should have a conversation with your husband and slowly figure out how to move on from the house and move away. And in certain situations, maybe the house is a very big house, you've grown a lot of memories and all that. Don't be shy to start off with a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom,
Yeah.
a nice, decent place,
Yeah.
just for your peace of mind. Sometimes your peace of mind is paramount
Yeah.
Yeah, because even
over the big
yeah.
space. So sometimes what the problem is that you're looking at, oh, this house is big, maybe you don't even have to pay light bill because it's
Or
not.
could it be he's waiting for the mother to die?
Or
dear.
no, not
Then you
waiting.
have
but
the consequence of that.
No, it's not like waiting.
You
see,
endure.
if she's 20
Well,
and she
if
got
he's
married,
not
and
the
she's
only
been-
child.
If she's
Wow.
28 and he's married for 8 years, I'm thinking that this was a marriage that happened
Early.
probably very early. Maybe they were probably in
Pregnancy
uni,
or, yeah.
maybe last year in uni or something. Decided to get married, do it quickly, and whatever. So I'm thinking that the man himself, right? He's a dependent. Like he likes
Yeah.
depending on people.
Yeah.
He's not matured.
He's not matured.
And even at this age,
And
even if let's
your
say he's
parents-
at least a few years older
Yes,
than the
and
girl.
even your own parents. Look, parents treat even okay. So there are parents who have like 3, 4 children. They treat them differently
Yeah.
based on how mature they look, and how
Yeah.
mature they seem.
And act.
So if a parent has a child who is behaving like a child, they'll treat you like a child.
Yeah.
But when a parent has a child who is acting mature, is taking healthy decisions, good decisions, they treat you as such.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your thoughts on parents that actually want you to remain in the house? Oh, we have a big house. Where are you going? Where are you going?
So
we have
that's
several
advisable.
bedrooms.
It's not advisable.
See,
Not advisable.
see,
Still
for
leave.
me,
You have to leave.
marriage. Look, if everybody had their own means, I would want marriage to start with that unit of 2.
Yeah.
Because listen, date for 10 years, date for 15 years. You can't compare it to 1 month of marriage.
Yeah.
You can even cohabit, like you can even live together. You can't compare it to 1 month of marriage. Because I know someone who was dating somebody for 8 years. Out of the 8 years, they actually lived together for about 2.5 years. They got married and broke up after 2 months.
Oh.
And it beats your imagination. Like, they've known each other for 8 years. They've dated for 8 years. They cohabited for 2 years. So ideally, and they made that decision. It wasn't like forced. They've been for the longest, and they get married. Why break up after 2 months? You see, marriage is a different ball game. So, in as much as sometimes you want like, oh, it's better to stay here, it can be a short-term, measure for like a month or 2 to settle. But as much as possible, strive to live in your own unit so that you can grow together as a couple. You can grow to know each other better. You can grow to set up your own family values and norms. Right now, when you're living in your mother-in-law's house, some of the principles, some of the things is as per what she looks,
Yeah.
how she wants things placed.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
How she
yes,
wants things
yes.
done.
If she's
When
waking up
cooking
up-
should be done. You can
Exactly.
even have a
She's
mother-in-law
true.
who will be like, why are you feeding my son this?
Yeah.
I never feed my son this. Why are you giving him this?
Yeah.
And it's a big issue.
Yeah.
So as much as possible, if you can manage it, learn to be on your own as a unit for
Rosie,
some
if you
time.
can, you should manage it. You
I
are
know
married.
should,
You
but I'm
should.
just saying that I want to be modest, because somebody will say that genuinely I don't have, but ideally
Yeah, you
that
shouldn't
should
be
be
married.
the case. That's true. So you can learn to grow as a unit, learn to appreciate each other, learn to love each other, see the nuances, and set common values and goals for yourself as a couple.
Yeah.
Without the interference of your in-laws.
So on that
Even if
note,
it's the
let's take a
cheapest
quick
neighborhood in
break
town.
and we will be back to read the second letter.